Good morning, Delray Beach. I'm Amanda.
And I am Jamil.
And you had a very, very busy week last week.
Yes, it was very busy. I mean, I have to go back to the event, the last teacher standing event that we hyped up for the past 2 weeks. It was phenomenal.
It was good?
It was a nice turnout, sellout crowd.
Were they funny?
They were funny. They were funny.
Okay.
They were funny. I mean, to have the teachers come out, and it takes a lot of courage for a lot of them to get on stage, and they were doing it for a good cause.
Well, especially for teachers, because, you know, they have to have extreme levels of professionalism because they're teaching your kids. So to be able to break through that shell and get a little crazy.
I have to give a shout out to Plymouth Elementary, their teacher, Mr. Rocco. I forgot his last name, but he went by the name Rocco. Rocco L.
Rocco L.
So he came at first place, and then Hope Can't Lie. Miss Haynes, that's her name, Hope Can't Lie, and she really didn't lie. She really didn't lie at all on stage. So she came in second, and I think also she probably takes away the People's Choice Award as well. But she really opened up the floor and opened up the night. Ryan Boylston also got up and did a phenomenal job. I mean, I didn't think Ryan had it in him.
Did you get some video?
You know what? There was somebody that videotaping, but I don't know.
We need to see this, Ryan. We're going to show it next week if we can find it.
Pete Licata, who's our area superintendent for the school, he did a phenomenal job. He roasted me. And I was like, wow, okay.
You're like, I'm not here for this, okay? I'm here just to make sure it goes smooth.
It was funny because he told stories about me in high school, because he was my principal in high school as well. So he talked about me having 7 PE classes, but
not you.
I know,
not
right?
You.
I'm very studious.
We already heard what you did at the library.
I'm a standout student.
Listen, I hope your kids are not watching, Mel.
But then also Friday night we had a football game, high school football game.
That's right. How'd it go?
So we played against Palm Beach Lakes High School. We won. It was 37-0. They stopped the game because of the storm. I mean, because of lightning or whatever.
It was like hurricane and stuff.
But the kids did a phenomenal job that day. And there were a lot of college scouts there recruiting and looking at the kids. So
wow.
2 of the kids received college scholarship offers. One received one from Auburn University.
Oh my gosh.
One of your rivals.
Yeah, the wrong Alabama school.
And then Edward Waters University as well, so another kid received that. So.
Oh, that's incredible. I get chills every time we talk about these kids getting these opportunities.
I mean, it's been really big. I mean, so those kids had that platform to really showcase their talents and their skills.
Right here in Delray Beach. Yes. And that leads us to our guest today.
Yes.
So we are here at LSIS, and we have Dr. Spencer joining us to talk a little bit about what is happening in this beautiful space.
Yes.
Come on, Dr. Suzanne Spencer, everyone. So you are the Chief Executive Officer at Living Skills in the Schools program.
So Living Skills in the Schools, because I know you're familiar with it, and Amanda, you're just getting to see us now.
Oh, this is incredible.
So we're a substance abuse prevention program, and we've actually been serving schools throughout Palm Beach County since 1999.
Wow.
Yeah, so just to give you as an example, because Jamal was commenting on how much the building has changed, when I came on board around 2013, we were in a much smaller building. The program was only reaching about 5,000 kids. Over these last 9 years, to wrap up this year between September and today, to date, we've reached over 60,000 kids. Kindergarten through 12th grade.
Sorry to interrupt
60,000.
60.
So let me give you an idea of 60,000 kids. So I think University of Central Florida is like one of the largest enrolled colleges, and they have 60,000 students on their campus.
Whole big college. I mean,
wow, now that you say it like that.
Yes.
I mean, once again, I'm getting chills. Like, this is incredible how many lives you're changing.
Yeah, so our team is incredible because all those 60,000+, because we're over 60,000 now, that translates into about 2,000 presentations. It translates into about 70+ schools. And like I say, we start at kindergarten all the way through 12th grade.
So let me give you guys an example. So everybody that's in our era,
yes.
When we were in elementary school, there was a program that used to come around, Dare. And they used to have a slogan, "Say no to drugs."
Right, and you got a shirt. They gave you the shirt. I remember the shirt.
And they had the dog also, the McGruff. You remember the dog? No, you don't remember. I see it in your face. So.
Oh, that was, okay, we were talking earlier. I was like, there was some stuffed thing, and it wasn't Smokey the Bear. That was the dog. I remember there was a dog.
So when you look at it, that program, this is almost the same thing, because this is more of a proactive instead of reactive. So this is like a really prevention thing to really start early.
But Jamal, I'm going to interrupt you right there. It is not the same thing. This is next level. Like, that was our 1990.
Well, and I think that was it.
2020.
Thank you for
I'm sorry to.
I mean, no, really, like, no, but really, you are right. I'm just teasing you. But this is incredible. I mean, just all of the different services, and what I think is really impressive, because we were chatting a little bit before, is how they're going with different approaches. So it's not just Dare, where they just kept talking and there was like a skit or something. I don't remember what happened.
Right.
This is a much more in-depth. And you have a box you wanted to show us. So.
I do, but let me just answer the Dare question, because what makes us different, significantly different, is that we know kids, we can't scare kids into not using substances, right? So LSIS, our philosophy is based on giving them credible information, delivered by professionals in the field who, by the way, have seen what happens to kids on the back end when they turn to substances and misuse and abuse, and then trusting them that if they have that credible information, that they will make healthy decisions for themselves. So it's not fear at all.
Well, you know, one thing too that I like about your program, and I've seen the babes, the puppets, the puppets. To really get to the kids on a pre-K kindergarten level
get them
in a very creative way and teach it. I mean, when I seen it in action, I was like, wow, this is very creative. This is really nice.
And because we know we have to catch kids early. If we don't reach kids by the time they're 10 years old, they're going to hear all this from their peers. So the fact that we reach them in kindergarten with social emotional learning, and we're able to talk to them about decision making and self-awareness and coping skills, that is the build up to them understanding about medicine safety. We don't keep secrets with medicine, those sorts of things. So
that's impressive.
Amanda, you were talking about the boxes.
I mean, I love the way they look. I love everything about these boxes.
So is this a candy box? What's inside?
It's definitely not the candy box. So let me give you a little bit of background. First of all, thank you for liking the way they look. These were designed by our brand strategist in New York. So when COVID hit, of course, all of our audience that we serve is in schools. And when COVID hit and schools were no longer in the schools, LSIS, of course, our mission continued greater than ever, because we knew the need would be greater. We knew that kids would be exposed to social isolation, anxiety, stress. Families would be under great stress. So we had to come up with a way, how do we still deliver our mission, but in a way that now we could, even in a greater capacity, involve the whole family. So we came up with this idea of the family box for substance abuse prevention. Interesting story about the way this came about. So at the time, I had my team working remotely from home. And of course, none of us expected to be in lockdown for longer than a couple of weeks. But of course, we see how that turned out. So June came around, and you know, like everyone else, trying to manage so many things. And I recognized I forgot Father's Day. It was coming up in about 3 days. And I got on the computer. I was like, what can I get my husband for Father's Day? And all of a sudden I saw this coffee subscription box. And I ordered it, and it came, you know, just in time for Father's Day. And as he was opening it, and he got this exotic coffee, and he read the card, all of a sudden it hit me. What if I could create a box for families, and it was around substance abuse prevention? And what if it was curated around the research that says families who dine together at least 5 times a week have a much higher likelihood of reducing substance abuse in their kids? And that gave birth to the family box. So we wanted to say, thank you. So we wanted to say, let's give you something to talk about, because we're struggling to talk at the dinner table sometimes, right? So you open up the box, and can I put this on?
Of course, yeah.
You open up the box, and we want to say to our families, watch, learn, and talk. And the first item you'll get in the box is the instruction sheet. So this tells a little bit about who we are as an organization, because of course now we're in your home. You've invited us into your home. We talk a little bit about the research on families who dine together, and then we give you a step-by-step instruction guide how to use each item in the box. The next item in the box is really the crux of it. Remember, how do we get our program so that families can understand this important message? So I wanted to find a technology that would allow that to happen. So I also recognize that so many of our families did not have access to internet and Wi-Fi and what they needed to find the programming for their kids. So we came up with a mini TV.
How cool.
And when you press the TV, we put our programming on here.
I've never seen anything like this.
It didn't take any Wi-Fi. It didn't take any plug-in or anything. And we had our families hear from our licensed clinical social worker, and then the story of one of our prevention speakers. So our prevention speakers go in live into the classroom, and now we put her story on there, and then of course the agenda of everything. They could fast forward, they could go back to certain parts. So we encourage the adult or caregiver to first watch it and then share with their parent. The next thing we did was a deck of conversation cards. Because remember, this was about creating conversation. So in here is actually 2 decks, one from the adult to the teen, and the other from the teen to the adult. So when you open this, it might say from the teen to the adult, you know, mommy, daddy, adult, caregiver, loved one, tell me, how did you handle peer pressure when you were younger?
That's great.
And the adult or caregiver might say, you know, tell me, who would you turn to as your trusted adult if you didn't turn to me, right? So the family gets to talk. The next item in the box is a book. It's a memoir. It's called Saving Jake. And the reason I curated this book in here is because I wanted families to understand that substance abuse is happening to families all across this country. And it's not a reflection of parenting. So I wanted to break stigma and shame. And then we put in a bookmark that speaks to early signs and warning. Interestingly enough, because FAU, our university partner, just did a research study on the box as to the acceptability. You know, too often we think people aren't interested in reading anymore. People were very interested in reading, and families got a lot out of the book. The next item in the box is actually a set of 4 t-shirts. And you're probably saying, well, you know, what do t-shirts have to do with substance abuse prevention? Well, one, we wanted families to be united in their bond of, you know, that their commitment together for prevention. But also think about the dinner table and think about the idea of, one, now with technology, there's not a lot of conversation going on. But when I was growing up, you know, the idea was, you know, don't talk at the dinner table with your mouth full.
Right.
Well, we wanted to say, you know what? Talk with your mouth full, because when you eat family dinner together, it's such a powerful antidote to substance abuse. The next item in the box is a game. It's called the Appreciation Game. And really, my vision for this was I wanted to create those moments amongst family that maybe we don't say as often as we'd like to our children, the things we want to appreciate about each other as a family. The next item in the box is a big box, right?
You thought of everything.
I just want to know. I just want you to know I'm wild right now.
I am too.
I haven't seen anything
The
like
next
this
item in
before.
the box is
Unbelievable.
actually resources, so 211 and Family Guide,
Oh,
because
wow.
of course sometimes our families may already need access to help, and we wanted them to have that in their hands. The next item in the box is what we call our LSIS text to help and hope. So families, parents can text this number, and I'm going to read it out to you because you may want to register now. If you text LSIS to 855-957-5747, you will get a series daily, every couple of days, of prevention messages as it relates to how to help have this conversation with your kids. If you want specific customized messaging, say you may have worries about marijuana or another substance, you can fill out the assessment and you'll get customized messages to that. And then lastly, remember, this was all curated around the family dinner table. So our food partner, Bud's
Chicken.
Bud's Chicken and Seafood.
Those little corn fritters. Oh my
We
God.
have provided. I have to give a shout out to
There
Bud's.
has to be food involved
That's
somewhere.
right. So Bud's, we have provided a family feast for 4 because all of this is done around the dinner table. They can go collect with that
Beautiful.
bag. Jamal, you see the bag beside you?
Oh,
Take your insulated
wow.
food bag to Bud's. Go pick up your family
that's
feast
great.
for 4 and then sit around the dinner table.
Yes.
So for people who are watching and are just as in awe as we are, how can they get these beautiful boxes?
Yeah, so the great news is the boxes are fully funded for families in Palm Beach County
Wow.
with students 5th through 12th grade. So I believe the store link, it's on our Shopify site. You can either go to our website, which is Living Skills, plural, in the schools, plural, .org. And there you'll see the family box, which will take you to our Shopify site. The box is free.
Wow.
The shipping is free.
That's
and the family fees
incredible.
for free. But there's only limited quantities.
So how many boxes have been
So
ordered
over
far?
time, we've been distributing these since COVID. I think we're rounding up to about, after we finish these, and I think there's only about 200 left. It'll be about 1,500 we've distributed.
Wow.
And this is all thanks to the generous funding of our funders, which is the Department of Health and the Health Council of Southeast Florida.
Wow. This is something unique.
Yes.
This is really out of the box.
It is out of the box. And I mean, I like that you have so many different types of ways in this box to connect.
No, I agree.
Whether it's the book or I think the flashcards are incredible. Because I know, sometimes when you sit, especially when you do try to have that many meals together, sometimes you're like, now what do we talk about? You feel like you've talked about everything. So in asking the right questions, I think is
And how to
hard for
start
a lot
that
of parents.
conversation. So the boxes you see around you, supplemental education after you get the family box. Then we have the parent box, which is like a little mini box, new deck of conversation cards, couple of Buds lunch cards. And this one is on stimulant, right? Because what we're seeing now is a lot of polydrug use. The idea that students may be using multiple drugs in their system. You'll see the original family box, which is on opioids. That one has opioid programming. And this one, of course, it's not available yet. We just distributed this through a sponsorship, and actually Florida Power and Light sponsored the
great.
medicine literacy box. So now we go into classrooms K through 4 and we teach them about medicine safety so that as they grow up, they're not at such high risk for experimentation.
So one thing that I've seen and really in the past year, there's a lot of new drugs out, and the form of the drug, the edibles, things of that nature. And I've also noticed, and I see online,
Especially in the high school, you're seeing a
the
lot
high school
of...
kids are getting their hands on this. And I mean, the paramedics are being sent out to a lot of different high schools across the county because these kids are overdosing. Because they're, 420 just passed as well.
Yeah.
So the kids are eating these edible brownies, these edible gummies, and things of this nature.
And they don't know how the dosage. It's not like when your doctor gives you a medication and okay, take one pill 4 times a day. They don't know, and they're just taking it, right?
They're just taking it. But I think I like what you're doing because you're combating that issue. Because I've seen parents come to the school and they're crying. They're just like, oh, my kid would never do something like that. But you never know. But I think a lot of times we're not having these conversations with our kids too, at the dinner table, and things like this really will help.
They don't know how. I think that's. I think a lot of parents just don't even know where to start. They're overwhelmed. They're obviously stressed when they get to that point where their kids are already down that path. And I've seen it with my friends. I wasn't somebody who was partaking in those activities, but I had a lot of friends that were, and I think their parents just didn't know what to do because they didn't want to push the kids so far away that they don't talk to them, but at the same time didn't know these questions. And I think if people that I knew had these resources, you would have seen a lot less drug usage, I think.
No, I agree.
And going into the schools from young, I think is a really big part. I have my daughter's 5, but I think about these things because they grow up before you know it. And I'm like, well, how do I start these conversations? So for people out there who have little ones that aren't able to get these boxes yet, what do you recommend? Can they go to your website to find out?
They can go to our website. There's waiting lists for like the medicine literacy box as we hopefully continue to get it sponsored and funded so that we can provide it to more families. To your point, Jamel, I forgot what you were just saying.
The kids doing all kinds of different things now, not the ones that were mainstream.
The idea that the box in particular helps them not be accusatory, right? Because you're making a game of it. You're dispelling, breaking that barrier of why are you asking me this, mommy? Wait a second, how come you know so much about this? The cards actually are telling me to ask this, right? So it really helps break some of that down.
I think as a parent, sometimes I'm guilty as well when it comes time to get to that dinner table. I'm bringing my stress of my day, everything
Yep.
in home to that dinner table. And I'm just so quiet, just focused, thinking about everything outside of the home,
think.
or try not to think. You know, and you know the kids are running it, eating it, and they're probably on their phone too while they're eating. But I think this is a great opportunity to open up and have dialogue with your kids too, to figure out what's going on, and they'll invite you into their life of what's happening outside of your home. You know, throughout those conversations.
You'll be probably amazed what you'll learn. I heard you talking about the teacher event that you were at. So you know, LSIS serves families, kids, and our school professionals are one of our passions. We've just produced a master class on early detection of substance abuse in students, specifically for our educators to help what they encounter every day in the classroom, that they may need some support in. So again, we used the same technology. And we wrote a little jingle. Will they be able to hear this jingle on the thing?
We are here to be the place for all schools and kids and families.
We're so proud of the team, because you know it's our passion what we do. It's my team. We're here today. They're all out in the field, but they will tell you, being in front of those kids every day in our schools and our teachers, we're their partners. You know.
So coming back to the fruition of LSIS. How did it get started? I know what the mission is, but how did it come about?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because where we are actually on their property, George Tony Allerton actually founded LSIS back in 1999, and it was just by observing a need that maybe we have to start these conversations with kids, and it was based on one single program, which was where he sent in a speaker, or what they call a peer speaker, who had a minimum of 2 years in recovery, and would go into the classroom and share their personal lived experience. They do that by discussing consequences and decision making and peer refusal skills and impact to the family and progression of the disease. That is still our foundation program. But over the years, what I've added to that is our social emotional learning program. Our professionals, my team, are licensed clinical social workers, licensed marriage and family therapists, master's social work students. So now they're delivering information on trends like marijuana, vaping, opioids, college and coping. And then we do our family program as well. But that's how it started.
Wow.
I mean, and you've been around this work for a while, because even with the drug enforcement, the drug task force here that started a while ago with our district attorney, and you had all of the different law enforcement agencies. I remember coming to a couple of the meetings, and they started to really tackle a lot of different issues that we had here in Delray to help minimize, you know, what was going on here with substance abuse as well. So. I mean, hats off to you and your team.
Thank you. I'm so proud of them. I'm so lucky to have. I wish they were here today, but they're out in the field reaching 65.
They're adding to those numbers.
Yes.
And I think the thing is too, it's not even just those numbers, it's the families, it's their friends, it's everybody in their circles are affected by this. So it goes I mean, you're reaching hundreds of thousands of people, you know, with these 60,000 kids. And I think, I mean, it's unbelievable the work that you're doing. And I think the level of execution too, and how thorough every single touch point is. I mean, even everything is very well thought out, well planned, and with knowledge and doctors and professionals behind it also to support it.
And we spoke about, you know, where you guys came from, how you started, where you are now. Let's talk about where you're going. What are the plans?
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, right now, I don't know if you can top what you already done.
Well, we can
what are your plans? Where are you going?
Yeah, so I mean, we would like the boxes to be all over this country, right? Families are struggling and need help all over the country, so we would like to get that on a national scale. I mean, as far as our programming, we continue to look to expand to other counties to serve more kids and families. And then we'll add a component that helps families feel even more so that they have a place to turn to, and our school professionals in terms of their health, right? Because don't forget, they're exposed to all the same things our kids are, and they're required to help them through it. So, you know, my heart in terms of my passion as well is about helping our teachers and our school professionals.
I like that.
That's
I like
incredible.
that. So if there's anybody out there, if they want to get a hold of you, if they want to learn more about your program, can you provide them with that information?
Absolutely. So our website is Living Skills, plural, in the schools, plural, .org. And of course, I'm Dr. Suzanne Spencer, and you can always reach us. You know, we're one of those organizations that we love to talk to you by phone.
Oh,
So
that's
phone us.
amazing.
We'd love to hear from you. 561-501-6322. And we'll happy to help wherever we can.
Okay.
Wherever there are kids, you know, not just schools, if it's the Boys and Girls Club, wherever there are children and families, we will do our best to serve.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to share? Anything else that we forgot?
I would say there's limited quantities left of the family box. Again, shipping's free, the box is free, and the family feast from Buds is free. So go to that Shopify store. Again, you can get to it from our website and order limited quantities.
This is a resource that needs to be in every home.
Every home and every county. We gotta. If you're watching and you can make that happen, we need to spread this everywhere.
Yes, I
Thank
agree.
you for all
Thank
of your
you very
hard
much.
work, Dr.
So
Spencer.
much. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, this is unbelievable that we have these kind of resources right here
Right.
in
No,
our
I
beautiful
agree.
little town.
I mean, when you open that box,
I didn't expect as many things in that
the
box,
little
and,
TV. I mean, it's
and the thoughtfulness of every single item in there
Yes.
is it's next level.
I agree. I totally agree. Phenomenal job.
Absolutely. So do you want to bring on our next guest?
Yes, we're bringing on the founder of Veterans and Homefront Videos. I mean,
Voices.
Homefront Voices. I don't have my contacts on. So, Conrad Ogletree, he's a great man. Been involved in this community for years.
Yes.
So,
Hi, welcome.
There we go.
Oh,
Put that
perfect. Oh, I
there.
love
These here, they're
it.
my surprise. I'm not as
love it.
fancy as Dr. S, but
Yes,
I'm going
you
to be.
are. Yes,
oh,
you
no,
are.
I love those ideas.
Unbelievable.
and you saw I'm sitting off
Yeah.
stage, and I'm ADD as we discussed, and I'm like scribbling all these notes because
Yeah.
there's so much. Think about what she's really doing is creating community, right?
Right.
And community ultimately makes or breaks.
Yes.
And it never takes much. We're always at a tipping point, one way or another.
right.
So the LSIS program, reaching out and engaging at the family level, at the
Yes.
school level. Can you imagine the conversations
Right.
kids would have? You know,
Yeah.
if we were
Yeah.
fifth graders talking
Yeah.
about, I talked to my mom last night and she told me, and
Yes.
you know,
Exactly.
wow, all of a sudden the messaging
It changes.
Yeah, yeah. And this will fit into what I do
Well,
too.
you know, the crazy thing about it, as she was speaking and I was looking at what you do, I'm like,
Yes.
these services really tie in
Yeah.
to one another. Because if you think about the kids of veterans as well, you
Yeah.
think about everything, that whole family makeup of veterans. I mean, it could be a lot of trauma. It could
And
be a
the
lot of
coping
things.
mechanisms that they develop,
Definitely.
healthy or unhealthy.
I totally agree. So, but now coming back to your organization, you know, you were on the show before, but some people, we probably have some new viewers as well. So can you give some background about your organization? as well?
Sure. And this will fit into the whole children thing because it's veterans and Homefront voices. So we all know what a veteran is. So what's a Homefront? When a troop, Air Force, Marine, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, deploys, the folks at home who carry on. There's always somebody, usually mom and dad, siblings, spouse, and if they're old enough, their own children. Everybody is serving. So in Delray, about 6% of our population are veterans.
Wow.
Four people per family. So multiply that.
Yeah.
So almost a quarter of our population is directly connected, related to veterans, and then go to the next gen out.
Yes.
So aunt, uncle, you know, grandfather. That number gets to about 50%. So what do we have in common, right? We have more in common with that one thing, and with children. You know, there are a lot of things.
Yeah.
So the program, Veterans and Homefront Voices, is meant to take the legacies of serving others. So, teacher,
Yep.
you serve. You could probably make more money doing something else, but that's a passion. You're a coach,
Yes.
right? Building that team. And I saw your principal busting on you because he had that connection.
Right,
Yes.
right.
And
Yes.
now we start to say, okay, if we can bring connection along and legacy, so he serves, you serve, we all serve in one way or another. So we take that and we pair up veterans and those who serve on the home front, and we connect them with youth. We call them youth leaders, junior ROTC cadets, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, student government, just people who care. And we grab the legacy of that veteran that the young people do, and they carry it through into the community. And what they're really doing is carrying it, if you will, it's the viral campaign of serving others. Wow, so now we have, let me show you. I love Dorothy. Dorothy she passed away. She was 99.
Wow.
Yep. So Dorothy served in World War II. You had to volunteer if you were a woman. So she served in World War II in the Navy. And we had her interviewed by, or she was interviewed by, an 18-year-old junior ROTC female executive officer. So that's the number 2 role in that battalion. And Amanda said to Dorothy, "Why did you choose the Navy?" And Dorothy had trouble getting her breath in, and she's like, "I liked the boys' uniforms."
That sounds like what I would pick it for. The uniform was better.
You know what? I'm a segue, because my ADD kicks in a little bit. But from what you said, I have a lot of females in my family, so they watch football because of the men in uniform as well. Probably some other women can attest to that. So that's what some people say. Why did you start playing football? No, let me stop. Go back. All right, back to what you were saying.
So it's interesting. So Amanda, the cadet, said, "Why did you volunteer?"
Yeah.
And Dorothy needed to breathe in the middle of sentences, and she breathes in, and she goes and she says, "I saw the sign, I want you." Takes a deep breath and said, "So I became you." Wow, what a message.
Yeah.
Amanda's parents, I know her dad, could say that message all day long. Bounce, bounce, bounce off. Dorothy says it to Amanda. Amanda hears it. Amanda told me she shared that message with friends in the battalion, out of the battalion.
Yeah.
So it's a way to take what does service look like and apply it. And everybody wants a mission. As a coach, your linemen, well, how do you score them? No one gets by you. Or either way, right? If I'm on the offense, they don't come by me. If I'm on the defense, they don't go by me.
Right. Yeah.
So we all have missions. And that's really a big part of what we're trying to do, is to bring, it's not just veterans and young people, it's all people, to hear the story of others. And I think that's what Dr. S is really talking about, is we're all sharing a story. And the more we can have a story together, the stronger the community. So I like to say that what we do is we help bring veterans, Homefront, connected with youth, young people, to hear and pass along the legacy to help build healthier, safer, better connected community.
Like it.
It's beautiful.
And we have a small goal. We're going to change the world one local community at a time. And that's what Dr. S is. One school at a time, you change the world. So with all of that, I'm getting there. With all of that, that's where we come from.
Yes.
Can I tell you about what's coming up next?
Yes, please. We'd love to hear.
Okay. So on June 13th, let me stop for a second. Last year, the Atlantic High School JROTC, Junior ROTC Battalion, did 6 different events here in Delray, and they were wonderful. This year, we're doing the 2nd annual of those events. And on June 13th is the Women Veterans Day celebration.
Oh, wow.
So we call it a celebration because military tend to do, ceremony. Well, it doesn't engage the community. So we're going to have about 50 women veterans and then 50 women non-veterans to bring together and start to, if you will, go horizontally and vertically integrating. And then we're going to have girls from elementary, middle, and high school come, because we're in a state of transition. And in this transition point, it started with World War II, where women, we needed them in the culture and in business, and it's grown and grown and grown. And so we're going to bring in these young people, the high school and down, younger, to the event, so they can see what it looks like with role models who are successful. So one of our keynotes is the chair of my board, 2-star Major General, retired Army, woman. So Mary Kay Ader is going to talk about transition, and that's what we're all in a state of, is transition, so that then we move out to the young people, or hopefully these young females will become the women leaders, and it won't be women leaders, and it'll just be the leaders.
Right.
It won't be the first.
Yep.
Will just be what
Yeah.
it is.
So how would our viewers get more information
Yes, because
about?
this sounds
Go to our
amazing.
website,
Okay.
vhvconnections.org.
Okay.
So VHV Veterans and Homefront Connections, but just VHV.
What's the location of the event?
It's going to be at the Delray Playhouse.
Okay.
Oh, great.
It'll be at 6 p.m. And we're kind of limiting reservations because we have a specific audience.
Sure.
But it's happening in this town, and this will be the 8th of the events for veterans in Delray
That's
Beach.
beautiful.
It's great. I love Delray, and this is the model for the rest of the country. Like Dr. S, we'll take this and roll it out to the country, put it in a playbook, and say, here you have at it.
That's incredible.
So thank you all.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much. We always
for-
appreciate you.
Yes, yes.
Wow, I just think that's really cool. 99, and especially at that time to be a woman volunteering when that wasn't the norm.
No,
I think
that's a powerful
very
story. Like those are the type of individuals that, when people ask that question, like if you had that opportunity to sit down and interview this one person, these are the type of people that I would love to sit and have a conversation with. For people. I mean, that's bravery.
Yeah.
From a woman's standpoint, when you think about veterans and you think about the military, the first thing that comes to mind is a man.
Yeah, and you think of
'cause
like
that's
tough
that image,
men.
right?
Right.
But knowing that there's a lot of strong women,
So many.
so
And I think and strong families, because like he was saying, it's not just the person serving, it's the people
It's the
at
whole
home,
family.
which it comes back to all of this. And I think his point is correct. We're all connected, and I think it's
Yeah.
finding that commonality is what
what
makes it beautiful.
the videos that I love to see online is when these little kids see their family member come back home, whether it's a dad
you're gonna make
or
me
a mom.
cry.
Those
And they're all
things
running.
get all
Oh,
running.
you're gonna make me cry.
Every time I
Yes.
see the beginning of the video, I already know how it's going to end up.
Yes,
But at the
yes.
same time, you watch the whole thing and you see
everyone's
that.
so excited.
Yes, that is like a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So, all right.
This was a great show.
This was a great show. This was really
Great
good.
people doing incredible things right here in our
Yes,
beautiful
yes.
town of Delray Beach.
Yes, listen, I mean, for what LSIS is really doing and the number of students that they have impacted here in Palm Beach County is remarkable. And you see this nice banner of all of the schools and everything.
Amazing.
They're
And
working-
growing,
And
and
growing. And growing. She's going to have to put some on the back and
All the walls. The
All
walls
the
are going to be
walls.
covered, the ceiling, all of it. Next time we
Everything,
come,
yes.
you're going to be able to walk because the names are everywhere.
so hopefully, I mean, it'll be a great thing if these boxes are gone. So make sure you check out their
Well,
their
you'd be
Shopify
crazy
as well.
not to get
Yeah,
one. It's
definitely.
free and full of incredible tools.
I agree. But then again, thank you for joining us this morning. Have a Delray day. We love you. Peace.